And we are live with a new episode of the CVO Live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CVO Live. I'm here with Ronak Shah. Hello, Ronak. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and excited to be here. It's my first live, so really excited to do this.
Let's do this then. So, before going further, let me introduce you a bit. So, Ronak is the CEO and co founder of Obvi, the winner of the Entrepreneur of the Year at EY 2022. He's also featured in Inc. as one of the 22 high achievers. He he grew a direct to consumer brand like this, and I'm really excited to interview you today, Ronak.
Thank you so much for having me again. It's been an honor to be in this space, and I love the ability to be able to have a platform to share my story.
Superb. So, first of all, let us know for the ones which are not familiar with your entrepreneurial journey, how you've started it. How was the idea and how you've decided to build this brand?
Absolutely. For me, I was supposed to always be an accountant. I was an accounting major. My dad's an accountant, and that was the path I was supposed to take. I got the opportunity to become a controller at a startup supplement brand back in 2012. So I was an accountant at Deloitte, and I, through mutual friends, got the opportunity to work as a controller for a startup supplement brand. And I took the risk because, when you're an accountant, you can always come back to becoming an accountant, but you get very few chances to kind of work on a startup. So I still did accounting work there. But I absolutely fell in love and was fascinated with the idea of building a brand and starting up a brand and working crazy hours. The brand I used to work at, we used to work 2 shifts a day. So it was an intense amount of work, but I got to see a company grow to about 100 million and back in 2012. So I was only 21 years old. So a lot of great exposure. I stuck to it. I said, I want to get into startups more. I want to stay in the health and wellness space, and I want to see if I can one day have my own brand. But till then, I'm going to learn as much as I can.
That's amazing. So let's understand a bit about the how that experience framed your reality afterwards, because you've been seeing that this can grow, right? So basically you've destroyed some limiting beliefs, you've also installed other beliefs. How was that? How you are?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest pieces that I've realized and learned is that when at least from when I was focused on learning about startups and wanting to understand that this is what I want to do, I think one of the biggest pieces I learned is the whole world of startups in itself is a completely fascinating experience. Like, you can be in accounting, but you need to know marketing just as much. You can be in marketing, but you need to know accounting just as much. And I loved how close all the networks were to each other. And I found that to be one of the most fascinating things for someone like me who asked a lot of questions.
Excellent. So
Uh, yeah.
why this vertical in particular?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think when you look at this space of being in, in startups or D2C or e-commerce or whatever it may be, one of the biggest things you realize is needing to know your customer is so imperative, right? And sometimes it's very hard to know your customer if really, it becomes tough to understand, are they liking the product? Do you see the results? Do they give good feedback? One thing I loved about health and wellness is you can quickly know if they like your product. You can quickly find out if they see results from your product. You can quickly find out if this brand is going to be scalable, because it all depends on the product. So I loved being in a vertical where you can experience and understand feedback very quickly.
Fantastic. So, to set the stage a bit, you've made something truly amazing. Because we have this access to more than 3,000 brands, we see how much revenue they generate throughout the years, and you are now at 40 million
Yes.
US dollars in only 4 years of existence, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we crossed a little over $40 million this year. And it's been a great journey. We're also only a team of 8 people, so that part is pretty awesome to know. You don't need a massive team or raise a ton of capital to do it.
Excellent. So tell me a bit about the customer research. So you are talking my language. I'm also a former e-commerce entrepreneur. Then I got sidetracked to the software as a service. So I do know a bit about it. So tell me how you are doing customer research, because the whole mission of our event here is to help companies improve customer lifetime value by knowing their customers better.
Right. Um, I think the one thing that we said when we were going to start the brand, or even just when I've been exposed to customers, is a lot of us say that, oh yeah, we listen to our customers. A lot of us say like, oh, we love our customers. We often hear things like, oh, the customer is the most important thing. But when you really boil it down, how well do you really know your customer, right? I think a lot of people cannot answer this question properly, because one of the things I remember, at when my first company I worked at, Shreds, the CEO would always say, if I don't know the name of my top 20 customers, and if I don't know their birth date, and if I don't know what they are into and what they like and who they are, right, then I don't know my customers. And I think that stuck with me always, which was, we will never know every single person by name, by heart, everyone, right? But if we can know some of them or majority of them or interact with them at some point, that was very important. And that's why we created a community, right from day one on Facebook. It's why every month we go live on our community. It's why we do so many surveys. Yes, we have to sell the product. Of course, that helps run a business. But if you don't know your customer, your business can only grow so much, and you will only have so much of a relationship with your customer. So for us, knowing the customer, literally knowing them, and I know the names of our top 20 customers, I know their birth dates, I know where they live, I know what they do for fun. So that was very important for me.
And to set the stage a bit, Ronak, how many customers do you have in total? Because it's
Yeah,
important.
it is. Yeah, we have a little over 350,000 customers now. And so I try to maintain the same level of respect of trying to get to know as many of them, especially all the ones that come in the community. I definitely get to know, but it's hard. It gets harder as you grow. But I think if we stay consistent, people still at least appreciate your attempt.
Fantastic. I love it, and I want to unpack something regarding your top customers. In our methodology, applying the RFM, we call them the soulmates. Like, these are the ones that have the highest recency, frequency, and monetary value. By knowing them, by knowing why they are buying over and over again, you can tweak your marketing and you can understand what kind of products to put in your offer. Let me know a bit about your approach to your top customers.
Absolutely. So for us, with our top customers, what we let them kind of feel is we tell them that they're building Obvi with us. Okay. So when we reach out to them to do a survey, we don't tell them like, hey, like we just looking for this result and we'll give you like some gift card, right, to finish it. We tell them, guys, hey guys, we're trying to figure out the next product we want to launch for Obvi. You guys are our core creator group. You guys are our core customer base. You're our loyalists, our VIP. And so we want you to pick what comes next. Okay. A lot of people use the words like VIP and like exclusive and all that, but they never really mean it. For us, we've done a really good job, I think, of exclusively making certain customers feel very special. So our top customers, they're almost treated like royalty. They get to pick the next product that launches. They get first access at anything we launch before anyone else, almost a week to 2 weeks before. So they have the product and they're already trying it before anyone else can buy it. They also get a completely different messaging through our email and SMS. Like when I say completely different, like they know secrets about our company that like we don't put out in the public, right? And so it's really, really special for us to have this kind of association with them. And it's very easy to do. It's like almost imagine your top customers are like your best friends. Okay. And like,
Yeah.
if you have your best friends, like, and they were all in a group chat. Okay. We have a WhatsApp group chat with our top customers, right? Imagine you have a group chat. What would you talk to them about? Right? Like, hey guys, today's a Monday. Who's feeling it? Right? And we'll say stuff like that. Or like,
Yeah.
hey guys, don't remember to take your burn today because I know all of us binge ate at Thanksgiving this past weekend, right? Like little things that you just try and talk to them normally, and it helps us associate ourselves to them.
Excellent. So I just showed a bit of your website, and I love that you have this shop by health goal. So how you came up with these goals? Because many companies are just bombarding their customers with some product names, and they are not looking what's the product for. It's like when you are building a new product with a new name, it's all about what's the path, what's the bridge, what's the product taking you towards what kind of desired outcome. But I want to unpack a bit the process of deciding these are the four goals that we're going to mention.
Absolutely. So when we're looking at the goals or even how to market to people, okay? One of the things that we realize is sometimes there are people who go out and know what they want and they search for that. Okay.
Yeah,
Those are the people that honestly you don't even need to market to because they're already in the market. Okay. And so
yeah,
what's going to make them sell, what's going to make them buy something is typically price and then maybe aesthetics and maybe flavor or taste in terms of differences. Okay. And so, I think we do a good job there. Now, the other side of the spectrum are the people who don't know they need something, but are open to looking into it, okay, or open to having some intent and
yeah,
understanding. Those people really are the fun people to kind of take down this journey because you don't have to worry about them price shopping you. You don't have to let them worry about looking at too much competition. You just have to do a really good job at selling them on why they need something. Okay. So when we created our four goals, okay, we wanted to make it so clear to let people know that, okay, here is this product set that will give you anti-aging. Here is this product set that will take over your daily essentials, right? When you think about daily essentials, you're thinking about vitamins. You're thinking about, so that's our multivitamin, right? When you think
yeah,
about weight loss, right? We want you to know that this is going to help you burn fat and curb appetite, right? Anti-aging, we're going to take care of hair, skin, and nails, right? So when you look into each of these four categories, it is extremely important to let people understand right from the beginning. They always say within the first 5 words, people should understand what you're selling, right? So
yeah.
within our first 5 words, you know exactly what could be interesting. And then what we're hoping is you pick a funnel and you go down that funnel, right? So as soon as someone clicks on one of those, now we've captured that piece of data on them. Now, even the abandoned cart email we sent to them, even the pop up or the remarketing ad we sent to them, they're completely structured around that funnel.
It's like you are following our methodology. So Ronak, I want to share this because we have this. The CVO methodology takes into account the first party data, the zero party data. It's about
Brilliant.
the jobs to be done with the products, and then by tagging the customers, you do remarketing, you do onboarding, you do reactivation based on the fact that you know that the goals are around anti-aging. And I love that we're speaking the same language, and coming to the same understanding of it.
Yeah, and I think again, it's brilliant what you guys have created too, because it's like why data is important. I think sometimes people sometimes make it too much around the fact that like, oh, data is like trying to take someone's information, or data is trying to email people. Data is actually trying to refine what someone needs versus what someone just gets to have to stumble upon, right? I really like what somebody said once. This whole privacy stuff that happened, right? iOS and stuff like that. It's not like you now don't get to see ads anymore, right? If you opt out of privacy, what you're opting out of when you let's say block data or don't want certain pieces to get your data is you're opting out of things being filtered better for you, right? by teaching people, by letting people get data on you so that they can the system can learn better. So I loved what you guys are doing too, because it's like it's letting people get more targeted results of what I see on an advertising, and then and a brand like us using a service like it, which is getting more people who are interested in it. So I think that's the future of data.
I love it, and I totally agree with you, Ronak. And being here in Europe, it's a totally different game, and it's all about having from strangers having known visitors, and then from known visitors having customers, and then repeat customers. So the funnel is suddenly way longer
Yes,
when you have this hassle
that's right.
on your plate. So I want to shift a bit the gears here, and to tell us a bit about your process of making sure that the customers are happy or are satisfied, or that you are closing the loop, because that's also a big component of our understanding. In the CVO, we have three pillars. We have what you sell, which is the most important, the product; what you say, which is the marketing; and what you do, which is the customer experience. All of them
Yep.
are important, but without the product, you have no business. So, uh, uh, also in a high competitive market, customer experience it's also important. So, tell us a bit about how you handle customer service, how you are making sure that the customers are happy.
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, there's multiple layers for us too. Number one, once we get somebody to become a customer, from the moment they're a customer, and I'm talking about from the moment they see the thank you page, okay, we are instantly getting them excited and geared up and ready for the experience, which we call the Obvi journey. Okay. Um, and throughout this journey, okay, I'm talking about from the post purchase thank you page email all the way down to delivery. Okay. I'll start with that part. We're actually already starting to collect feedback there too. In midst their journey, we tell them here's what to look out for. Here are some tips and tricks. Join our community right away, so you can talk to other women just like you. Then we ask them, we want to know what got you excited about buying Obvi. Was it just the right price? Was it somebody else that told you about it? Was it a great ad that got you excited and you love the flavors? So we asked them a bunch of stuff. Right there, we're getting feedback. Okay, we're getting an understanding on why somebody wants something, okay, or why somebody bought something. You use that to do more of what worked, right? So that's feedback point number one. Then we ask them to come into the community and introduce themselves. Okay, when they're introducing themselves, we ask them to give us feedback on what is something they struggle with in their life and health. Okay, so we find out a lot of people struggle with diabetes, keto friendly, like a lot of health problems. Okay. And
Yeah,
so then we know, okay, we got to use this as feedback to make sure we cater more of our ads to this. Okay. Now, point of delivery, right? From the delivery to day 7, we get a lot of feedback on, hey, do you have you been enjoying the product? How have you taken it? Do you mix it with milk? Do you do this? We do a lot of feedback surveys. So just right there, right? I'm talking about from the minute they purchase to 10 days after delivery or 7 days after delivery, we've talked to them 3 to 4 times already. Okay. And just collecting feedback on what they're doing and why they're doing it. Okay. So I find that to be very helpful. So that's number one. And then secondly, now let's say somebody has had the product for 30 days. Okay. So then we start the journey of, have you been enjoying it? Okay. We want your real review. We want you to send us a video, negative or positive feedback. We actually ask for videos for negative feedback. We then also obviously ask for reviews, simple things like that, Trustpilot, Yotpo, our review
yeah,
systems. And then lastly, I think one of the most core pieces that we do is we ask each of our customers if they would recommend to a friend. Okay. And if they say no, then we ask them a series of questions of why not. If they say yes, we take them down our affiliates journey, which is growing this community of now 65,000 women, right? That's growing a massive pool of revenue, but also a lot of referral revenue, which is great. So I think we're talking to our customers at least 7 to 8 times in just the first 30-day journey. And each point is collecting feedback on why or why not they would continue down this journey. So I'll
Fantastic.
stop rambling there, but hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it because it's such a it's basically refreshing to see that people like you are actually applying these tactics and having authentic relationships with the customers, because without opening your ears more than your mouths, all you are doing is shooting in the dark. And there are many brands which are simply struggling to survive while they have good enough decent products, but they don't know how to nurture these kind of relationships. And I want to touch a bit on the subject of customer lifetime value, acquisition, retention, customer journey. What are you monitoring? So what's important for you? Which are the North Star metrics that you're after and that are guiding your decisions?
Yeah. I would say up until probably 2 years ago, what we cared about was brand level retention. Okay. And what I mean by this is, you can call it customer lifetime value, but I think that's sometimes it becomes a little gray area. But what we look at is brand level retention, which means are you coming back and buying from us, period. We don't care if you're buying anti-aging products, detox. We don't care if your first purchase was weight loss. We don't care if your first purchase was collagen. Are you coming back and buying more product from us at least 5 to 6 times in your lifetime? Okay. And retaining yourself with the brand. What we switched to slowly is we started to go towards customer lifetime value by SKU, which is if you're buying our weight loss product, the Burn, okay, we want to make sure you're buying that at least 5 to 6 times again. And if you're not, we want to figure out, why are you dropping off? Why are you churning on that product, right? Why are you jumping to another product? Are we doing too much cross-selling? Are we have too much confusion? We want to understand when you stopped using it. And then lastly, we want to understand, did you see results or not? So when we shifted towards customer lifetime value by SKU, it's almost like each product now is its own brand. And we've been able to become way more refined, way more kind of predictable in what we should be expecting. So that's now our North Star metric, is what is the customer lifetime value by certain SKUs. And that's definitely our top one.
Excellent. So I want to show you and our audience something that we've launched last year, which was also eye-opening for us to be able to see what is the lifetime value by the first bought product, like here, and also to see the chances to place the next order and based on if the first product was this or the other. So I think we're speaking the same language.
It's incredible. That's great.
Yeah, that's
How do you
something.
guys figure out the chance to place a second order? Is that based on just obviously historical only, or are you using any other data there?
Yeah, we're predicting based on the purchase, but that
Okay.
let's say this is of course dummy data, but we have data from many customers.
Yeah.
Based on that, we are coming up with the chances to place the next order, and based on that you can prioritize. And also what is something really important is that this is guiding your budget, so you can bid differently if you know that you have a certain SKU that's delivering 1,100 in CLV. It's a totally different great game if it's delivering only 500 in CLV. So based on that, you are truly data driven.
Got it. And then can people upload their data and you can run historicals on it too?
Yeah, sure. So we grab data from Shopify, from BigCommerce, and then we push this data. And the beauty of it is that to brag a bit about our latest capacity. So basically, based on that, we can build audiences. Like if this is a certain product, or if you have a last order, first order by a certain product, or by from a certain RFM group. So let's say you have your soulmates, which are the best ones. You can build this as an audience and then send it
Wow.
to Facebook, to Google Ads, and basically to continue the journey. If they are in a danger zone and they've bought a certain product, it's like an email but on Facebook ads. And also we connect this with Klaviyo. That's our game plan at this moment.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. Really, really cool.
Yep. So, Ronak, I wanna touch on a different subject regarding the how come you've started to ask to use the surveys. I'm a huge fan of surveys, and let me give you the backstory. I was an e-commerce entrepreneur. My friends were working in multinational, corporate, whatever. I was burning a lot of money on Google Ads, and that was back in 2012. So back in 2012, imagine having a business. We were making something like 7 million or 8 million in revenue. 1 million goes to Google Ads, and they were always mocking the fact that, man, you're Mr. Entrepreneur. You don't have money, and you don't have time. What the fuck are you doing there?
Yes.
And
Yes.
thanks to that struggling moment, I've started to look at the data, and I was wasting my life in Google Analytics on the visitor behavior. And after some moments, I realized, you know what? I need to look at the customer data. And I had no option. I've started to do these SQL queries, whatever. And then I've decided, you know what if I can ask the customers why they're not buying again?
Yes.
What was their experience? And for us, it was like these months of analysis on the Google Analytics were nothing compared to a freaking survey that I've
Yep.
triggered, and I've got the answers from 500 customers or so.
It's fascinating. It's like, when you look at how we've been traditionally been thinking about behavior and customers and everything, we're always all taught to, like, okay, do this and persuade customers, and 3-4% or 5% of them will buy, right? That's the typical conversion rate.
Yeah.
And we all just say, okay, yeah, sounds good. I'm at 5-6%. My business is good. But like, what boggles my mind is 94 to 98% of visitors don't buy.
Yeah.
And yet we are so, and of course you need to be focused on making sure we can keep increasing the conversion rate optimization on the people who do buy. But what about, like, just understanding why so many people aren't buying, right? And why, like, why are people in? You're never going to get 100% of people to buy, right? But why is the bar so low of just needing 4 to 5% people, right? I understand that's what makes a healthy business if you make the numbers work, but like, how is that the bar? Like, why is it so low, right? If people are clicking on something that is so targeted, why is the bar so low? And that always boggled me. So I always wanted to look at it the other way and say, let me just ask. Let me understand why people don't want something, and see if I can cater to that in the next run.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So tell us a bit about some aha moments that you got thanks to the surveys. I'm a big fan of surveys, of conversion rate. Of course, we have the whole product around conversion rate optimization besides this one. But tell us a bit about some aha moments.
Yeah. So one of the ones were, it was pretty awesome. I don't think too many people know this, but we have now 34, 35 SKUs. Okay. We launched with 2 SKUs. The other 33 SKUs that we've launched till date, they are purely driven and decided by surveys. So every single SKU, like our third SKU, we didn't have much money, okay, when we wanted to launch a third SKU. So we basically, initially, we were like, you know what? We can't screw this launch up, okay? We can't waste money. Why don't we just ask the 250 customers we had at that point? Why don't we just ask them what they want as the next flavor, okay? And at least maybe if they're telling us what they want this, maybe they'll buy it. So we launched a survey. We put 5 flavors. We said, hey, pick the next flavor, and then we'll run with that. Initially, the only reason we did this survey was we just didn't want to mess up the next launch. But what we realized is when you actually just ask people what they want and then you deliver on it, the burden shifts to the customer to be like, oh shit, they listened. Like I have to buy this, right? Like you almost are putting obligation on back to the customer. And it was so fascinating for us. So we said, okay, on our fourth product launch, we did it again. Fifth, sixth, seventh. We're now, 33 more launches later. Every single product we've launched and will launch ever in the history of this company, we will do it via survey. We will ask them what they want. We will take it to R&D. We will produce it, and then we will launch it, and we will hope to see the success we've seen thus far.
Hats off to you, man. It's it's a fantastic it's a fantastic piece of information. And what I have to say is that I'm writing a book, my book around the CLV revolution. I hate it that I've just sent it to press, because I would have caught you at the section of how impactful it is to use and leverage surveys in your product assortment.
I think it's not even like it's important. I just feel like more people need to do it, just point blank. And then the next piece, the one other aha moment I had, which I think was really powerful through survey, is in our surveys, one of the things that we did was we asked people, tell us one other product that you were considering, one other company you were considering to use before Obvi. Okay.
Yeah.
And we would get lists of all of these competitors we've never even heard of. Okay. Like random, maybe like MLM brands or random brands. And we said, okay, this is now, we took the list. I think we have like a list of like 62 or 63 companies, and we watch them like a hawk. We see what they're doing in marketing. We see what they're doing in their community. We see everything. And what it has turned into is it's become our ecosystem. Okay. And a lot of times you think you know who you're competing against or who your competitors are, but sometimes you have no idea. There are ones that aren't even out here in the open, right? And they're just doing TV marketing or they're doing podcast marketing, and you never even heard of them. So it was fascinating to find out our competitive landscape through our customers.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic insight. What I want to touch right now, Ronak, is the fact that sometimes you are not competing with the product. Sometimes you are competing with another habit of, I don't know, maybe sometimes you are competing with a weighted blanket, maybe you are competing with some other products or with other habits, other behaviors. And unless you know the problem that you're solving, you don't know how to write copy. And that's also something that I've discovered. I was doing this job to be done research for a company 2 years back, a direct to consumer company from the UK. They were selling turmeric shots, something around your area, and they realized that they were selling immunity support, more energy, whatever. And they realized that their recurring revenue, so most of the recurring revenue, like 60%, came from people which were looking to get rid of the joint pains. So basically it wasn't their brand around energy, immunity, whatever. It was people that were buying turmeric because it was a fantastic replacement for ibuprofen and other things that were harming them. The side effects were really damaging against their natural components. And through their feedback, through their direct open answers, it was like, these guys are writing our ads. It's like we can't do anything else that just put them over there. It's not.
That's it. That's it.
There's nothing to add.
There's nothing to add. And I think it's like I think sometimes when you put yourself as a marketer, you feel like you have to have the full burden on. You feel like you have the full burden on how and why you need to market a certain way, but sometimes you have to shift the burden on the customer and have them tell you what part of the marketing that you did is what worked,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just try and say like, we do all these post-purchase little surveys that say like, where did you buy from? And people just click Facebook or TikTok or whatever. We need to go deeper,
Yeah.
right? What is the reason you bought this? What are you trying to solve, right? And I feel like we don't ask that because we think it's too intrusive. But on the flip side, we're trying to put everything spaghetti at the wall and hoping something works. Might as well ask them.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Ron, I wanna shift a bit towards the business strategy. So how you are making the culture, because it's not only you, right? You are customer centric. I mean, you are one of the most customer centric CEOs I've ever encountered, and kudos for that. I'm really happy that we're doing this together.
Appreciate that.
Uh, how you are making your team think the same that you are, how are you instilling this to your, maybe you are working with agencies or to everyone, to focus on, we don't know, let's ask the customers, let's follow
Yeah.
what they are saying.
Yeah. I think one theme we have across the company between my founders, myself, and our employees, and even when we have our weekly debriefs with agencies, one thing is if anybody does not have an answer that they're willing to bet on, okay, or they're willing to put their money on or put their job on the line for, right? Then you need to go and find the answer through qualitative data. Like for us, and like even if someone we might even have an employee that's like, I know chocolate covered strawberry would be such a great flavor if we launched it, okay, for collagen. And our first time, even though that sounds like a great flavor, we'll say, how do you know that? How do you know it will work, right? And unless there's data backing anyone's answer, we don't go forward with it. Now, the negative part of this mindset is that we don't let gut or instinct come in the way, or feelings or emotions. We're very cut and dry there. It's everything needs to be very data oriented. So if you have a suggestion, or you have a thought, or you have something you want to try or test, even those things need reasonings or purposes or number-driven qualitative data to say this makes sense to try or test or do or launch. So I think that part is just in our day-to-day conversations, in our day-to-day, like even meetings, our agencies know that, like, it's just the theme. So it takes out anyone just saying, oh yeah, I'm just trying this out. There's no casualness in it. And again, the negative of it is it takes away sometimes the fun of trying
Yeah,
something that is so bizarre. But we just can't afford to try things.
love it. So Ron, regarding your next adventure, so how you are, uh, what's your vision around Obvi, how you are making this vision happen?
Yeah. So I think the next piece to Obvi is we need to grow in retail. So we're launching in Walmart in August, nationwide, which we're excited about. But more importantly, Walmart is just one of many places that we need to be um, available. Um, and so what we're focusing on is building out a team in retail, also getting some strategic partnerships and advisors to help us grow the retail arm. Because with D2C, you can build a great brand, you can scale well, and you can make tons of money. But if our vision, which is we want to have a 9-figure exit to a strategic buyer, um, we need to hit some serious scale
Yeah.
and critical mass, and that will only come through retail developing the right way.
Yeah, this is in line with what many people in the direct consumer arena are stating, that there is a plateau and you can't simply
There
scale,
is.
and the unit economics are not working unless you are distributing through
Absolutely.
retail chains.
Yeah, and it's not even plateau. I think what happens is you get to a point where you can't keep LTV going for so long, right? The reason
Mhm.
it's called lifetime value is there's a lifetime of a customer. And if that customer is churning at some point, you need to be scaling at exponential levels year over year over year over year, okay, to keep the pace of growth
Yeah.
that you would need. And it's an immense amount of pressure on advertising spend and acquisition to do that.
I Now that we're here, Ron, tell us about how you do you monitor lifetime value versus customer acquisition cost? Do you do this type of dance? Tell us a bit about the CAC payback. Give some insights because there are still many entrepreneurs, e-commerce leaders, which are guided by ROAS or other shallow metrics.
Yeah. I think the 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 guiding metric for us is not the CAC to LTV ratio. The reason CAC to LTV comes up is we know when we want to sell the company or raise a round or capital or anything, we know we need to hit a 3-to-1, right? It's what everyone tells us. We know that's in the back of our mind. We're probably around 2.5, 2.25, 2.5 to 1 right now. So we know our metrics well. We know it's not good enough yet. But I think what we measure is by funnel, we measure what our CAC is. But more important than CAC, we measure what our new customer acquisition cost is, right? So NCPA is the most important metric for us outside of customer lifetime value by product. NCPA gives us a good gauge on a few things. One is, what are we really willing to afford? What do we really have to pay to get a customer? How is the market working? How's the economy trending? Because almost all of those layers affect NCPA. And so for us, NCPA is almost like a NASDAQ ticker, right? We don't change too much. So when we see fluctuations like this in NCPA, we know something's going on. And so it's a great measure for us to understand volatility. And I think that's probably the closest metric we look at outside of CLTV.
Love it. Is there any other, let's say, method that you want to share regarding increasing lifetime value? So we mentioned basically monitoring it by the SKU, using surveys to make sure that the customers get what they want, tagging them to follow them, and to do this type of flows and journeys based on what they are sharing with you. Is there any other technique that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I think one thing is make purchasing easier for your customer. Okay, and I think what I mean by that is, like, we feel pretty strong about the fact that, like, once somebody buys on your website, right? Obviously, there's intent. You have to now follow up with them, blah blah blah, right? When it comes around to their second purchase, okay, or third purchase or fourth purchase, you should have enough data points on your customer through surveys, feedback, through initial purchase behavior, revisits, remarketing, etc. You should have enough feedback and touch points on your customer to be able to then step in and say, hey, here's what I think you should buy next. Here's the offer. Here it is. One click checkout, straight to checkout, go. Right? We even went and worked with TapCart to create an app, because so many of our customers, retention-wise, they know what they want, right? So we said, all right, you know what? Why do we make you go to a website? Why do we make you type in a website that when you know what you want? Here, go on the app and just buy there, right? And so we think about ways to make things very easy, and get the thinking out. Subscription is another great way to do, increase customer lifetime value. But I think what it boils down to is, if you think about if your customer is ready to buy again, okay, how easy do you make it for them to buy again, right? Do you remind them enough? Do you only do promo emails and promo SMSs, or do you even remind them on the value? Are you doing enough blogs? Are you on top of their mind every day, right? And then are you striking at the right time with the offer? Are you making the offer so good that they're ready to check out right away? Are you taking them straight to checkout, right? Are you preloading all their information in checkout so that they can use Shop Pay or they can use Afterpay very easily? All of these pieces are so important, and you can't miss on any of them.
Love it. Diminishing the friction is a big component which can be a deal breaker, even though you have the intention, you have the motivation, but then you have to log in, you have to remember the password, you have to add it again in the cart, and then you have to
That's right.
whatever. So I totally agree, and I love. I don't know if you are using Tiny Habits from BJ Fogg. So basically, you are mentioning the behavior model from him. It's about motivation, ability, and the prompt, right? So
Yeah,
when you are doing the timing.
nailed it.
Uh,
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you something regarding the days between the transactions. You have different SKUs and they have different purchase cycles. Yeah. So basically, maybe the anti-aging is not being consumed as fast as the immunity support or whatever. So are you analyzing this? Do you have some plans to calibrate the reminders for non-subscription customers based on that?
Yeah, what we do is post purchase, we do a lot of following up with our customer. And
Mhm.
we actually ask them, like, have you been taking the product every day? Have you been taking it every other day? Have you been only taking it on weekends? Do you take it on weekends? Based on that, that data feeds into what flow delivery. Um, and it helps us because so if a group of people who bought this product all say, oh, I don't take this product on weekends, we replicate the flow. We have one flow, but we replicate the flow that would basically kick out the repurchase reminders out by 8 days because they skip weekends, right? Then we
Mhm.
have people who are like, oh, I take it like here and there. Then we have another flow, same flow, but the kick out days are kicked out an extra 20 days, right? Because we assume that they're probably skipping 2 to 3 days a week. Um, so there's ways to capture the information on when your customer and how often your customer is actually creating a habit and focused on consuming your product. And we feed that data into when the flow should go out instead of just putting everyone into an all-in-one solution.
Love it. Yeah, it's so eye opening, and I hope whoever is listening or watching this episode, you better listen it again because there are some incredible gems over here. So thanks for sharing this with us, Ron. Going further, I wanna focus a bit on the ways that you are crafting this customer journey. Do you do anything of like package inserts or like things like that? We have a lot of customers which are going outside the digital whatever, yeah, because the unboxing has the 100% open rate, right?
Yeah. Yes. Um, So for us, we got a little bit kind of sorry, one second, just turn off the mic. We got a
Yeah,
little bit tired of sorry, we got a little bit tired of the whole idea of inserts. And no offense to anyone who's doing
yeah,
it. We just believe everyone's doing it. So how do we be different? Okay.
yeah.
So inserts typically cost anywhere between 7 cents to up to 25 cents, depending on your volume. We went and spent 39 cents and created a booklet. Okay.
Mhm.
This booklet is 10 pages. It's a 6x6 booklet. Okay. It has recipes. It has dosage guide. It has join a community QR code. It has a page with a coupon, like a cutout coupon that you can scan and use on the app. It has a reminder to leave us a review. It also has all the other stores we're available in. It's literally a book, and it's stapled. It's like a stapled paper book.
Yeah,
But this book, it's amazing because people are reading this and they're finding out we have more products. We have this and that. Inserts and all are great, but let's be honest, we're going to be extremely transactional on those.
Yeah.
We're maybe going to drop a QR code. People already are looking at them and they just throw them like this, right?
Yeah.
So our first time purchase gets a book. Our second time purchase onwards gets a magnet. Okay. The magnet sits on their fridge. Now that's a reminder. Now the brand is a billboard on your fridge, right? The magnet costs us, I think it's like 28 cents. So all of the costs are higher, but the utility is way higher, and the throw-in garbage rate is lower. No one throws out a magnet, you know, and no one throws out a nice looking booklet, right? You're probably gonna stack it up and keep it. So those are the two big things we do. We see an immense amount of click through on our QR codes on those. I say spend an extra 10 to 20 cents if you can, stomach it. I know when people have low margins, it's tough, right? Like, cause that's 20 cents per order. If you have 10,000 orders, that's an extra $2,000 of lost profit. So I get it. But the value is immense.
Yeah. I want to ask you, Ron, regarding this type of techniques. Do you measure it's clear that you've measured the impact and you've seen the impact in the retention rates and in the purchase frequency, but you are mentioning something very important, and I want to focus a bit and unpack a bit this technique, because I also have it in my book. We have a lot of success stories with this. Many people are throwing their discounts and are bombarding their customers before they had the habit of consuming the product. Before seeing the value, there's no discount that is going to convince me to buy again a product which I haven't seen the value from. So I want to unpack a bit the fact that the fragile moments, the most important moments, are not from 0 to 1 if you've nailed your conversion and acquisition, but are from 1 to second, the second to third order. And there the chances are always going higher. So we have this data, huge amount of data.
Yes.
First to second, second to third. Fix this, and then it's like a domino effect, right?
It is. I think the big piece. So to answer your first question, yes, I measured it. I measured it mainly because when you send out inserts, we didn't see that many clicks on our QR codes. One. Number two, we never saw anyone post about it. Like, people would do their unboxing, and we literally saw people look at the insert in their video, because we asked for a lot of UGC. Okay. Yeah. We literally saw, and we say, don't open your box until you do the UGC. Okay. We want it to be super organic. Literally saw people take the packaging out, look at the insert, toss it. Okay. And like, this is for UGC content. So they're being as organic as possible, but also, trying to like it. Anyway, so when we saw that people were like, okay, just not too keen on it, we then started putting these booklets, and the booklets became a stopping point before even the product. And that's when if you can capture attention before the real deal, now you've gotten someone hooked. Okay. So I think that piece is very important. And then on the 0 to 1 to 1 to 2 comment, I think it's really important to treat the first time purchasers versus the second and third time purchasers completely different. Like, they almost need to be catered to like a different company atmosphere, right? The first time purchaser, they're around excitement, and you're trying to bring them into this world of yours. The second time onwards, these people, they need to almost be congratulated on the fact that they've stayed consistent, that they've made it this far. The tone, the messaging, hey, now this is a staple in your life. This is a magnet on your fridge, right? You should be proud that you do this every day, that you have to be reminded about this. It's like when you put a kid's drawing up on a fridge, right? So I think there's certain things we do that is supposed to attack the emotion of someone.
Fantastic. Ron, I think we could go for hours, but unfortunately we're running out of time. I think what you are doing is amazing. You're a natural talent into orchestrating customer journeys. I think it's amazing that you've done all of this in only 4 years. I've been investing my, let's say, from 2012 up until today, so 11 years, I'm doing all these things. So basically, you've touched a lot of the things that I've learned by working with D2C brands like yours. Really, hats off to you. Thanks a lot for being today with us in the CVO live episode. And I want to make something, if you agree, we want to get you again in a few months from now, and we want to do this as a part of the CVO Academy. So I think
Absolutely.
your knowledge belongs to the CVO Academy, our 16 hours academy, but you're a practitioner which is actually doing this. We have there the chief evangelist from Clavio, we have academic professors, we have people, but I think what you're doing is amazing, and I'd love to build a course based on what you have to share.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd really appreciate it. I will say, I've done a lot of podcasts. I've done a lot of different things. I think some of the questions you asked just shows how in depth even you've thought about these things. Because it's you don't just use the word retention. You don't just use the word repeat purchase. You're actually trying to understand how those things happen. And I think we need more of that. So again, thank you for the opportunity, the platform. I hope everyone got some value, and I would love to be a part of what you're continuing to do.
Perfect. That was all. Thanks a lot, Ron, again. It was amazing to have you here. And thanks everyone for watching. If you've listened to this episode, make sure you listen to it again, because that was full packed with the wisdom nuggets. See you on the next episode of the CVO Live. All the best from Bucharest, everyone.
Take care, guys.